The wind does not ask for permission before it cuts across your face. It moves through the fjord like a living thing, sharp with salt, cold with intent. You pull your cloak tighter as you step inside the longhouse, where the air is thick with smoke, fat, and something older than memory. Hanging from wooden beams above your head are strips of darkened meat, silent, motionless, enduring. This is food, yes, but it is also survival. In this world, meat is not just eaten. It is transformed, guarded, entrusted with life itself. Here, refrigeration does not exist. There are no machines humming quietly in the background, no sealed plastic wrapping, no expiration dates printed in clean black ink. There is only winter, hunger, and knowledge passed from hand to hand, generation to generation. And for now, everything works. The meat dries, the smoke cures, the salt holds, the system endures. At least that is what everyone believes. The Viking world is one built on rhythm. Seasons dictate labor. Light dictates rest. The land decides what is possible and what is not. Summer is short, frantic, generous. Animals are slaughtered when grass is still green and bodies are strong with fat. Nothing is wasted. Blood is caught. Organs are eaten fresh. Bones are cracked for marrow. The remaining flesh, thick cuts of beef, mutton, goat, seal, fish, is not meant for today. It is meant for the months when snow seals the earth and the sea turns hostile. Preserving meat is not a task here. It is a worldview. Smoke rises constantly from hearths not just for warmth, but for protection. Meat hangs high, where the heat is gentle and the smoke is thick enough to keep insects away. Over days, then weeks, moisture is pulled from flesh. Bacteria slows. Time bends. What was once soft becomes firm, dark, resilient. This is not decay. This is transformation. Salt, when it can be afforded, is treated like silver. It is rubbed into cuts with reverence, worked deep into muscle, drawing out water, creating an environment where rot struggles to breathe. In coastal settlements, sea spray and brine do part of the work. Inland, salt is traded, guarded, rationed. A household without salt is a household living dangerously close to hunger. Drying racks stand outside in the open air, exposed to sun, wind, and cold. Fish split and spread like wings, left to harden beneath an indifferent sky. In winter, freezing itself becomes an ally. Meat locked in ice pauses in time, waiting patiently for a thaw that will never fully come until spring. This knowledge is ancient, tested, trusted. It has carried families through generations. Children grow up watching the process, learning which smells are safe, which textures are dangerous, which colors whisper warnings. There is comfort in this system, predictability, order. But systems that appear stable often hide their fragility well, because preservation is not certainty. It is negotiation. Every method the Vikings use is a compromise with nature. Smoke can fail if the fire burns too hot or too cold. Drying can betray you if rain lingers too long. Salt can be uneven. Freezing can thaw unexpectedly. And when preservation fails, it does not announce itself loudly. It works quietly, invisibly, inside flesh that looks the same as it did yesterday. There are no microscopes here, no germ theory, only experience and instinct. A sniff, a touch, a taste taken cautiously, then another, hoping the body knows before it is too late. Most of the time it does, but sometimes it does not. The culture around preserved meat becomes one of discipline and trust. Meat is portioned carefully, hung carefully, shared carefully. Elders oversee the process because mistakes are paid for not in embarrassment, but in sickness, weakness, death. A spoiled store does not mean an unpleasant meal. It means winter hunger. It means children growing thin. It means warriors lacking strength when raids or defense demand it. Food preservation is power. Those who control it control survival. And like all power, it creates quiet hierarchies. Some households have better smokehouses. Some have more salt. Some live closer to the sea where drying fish is easier, more reliable. Others rely on trade or luck or prayers to gods who may or may not be listening. The illusion is that everyone is bound by the same rules. The truth is that inequality begins here, in the rafters, in the smoke, in the unseen stores behind closed doors. As winters grow harsher, the margin for error shrinks. A colder season means animals burn more fat to stay alive. Their meat is leaner. Lean meat spoils faster. A wetter autumn means drying takes longer. Mold appears where it never did before. A delayed harvest forces slaughter too early or too late. The system does not collapse all at once. It frays. And the Vikings, for all their strength, do not fully see it happening. They adapt, as humans always do. More smoke, thicker cuts, stronger salt rubs. New rules pass down with the authority of tradition. But tradition is not science. It is memory. And memory cannot always explain why something fails, only that it has failed before. There are stories whispered in the longhouse, of families struck ill after a shared meal, of warriors weakened before battle, of voyages delayed because stores could not be trusted. These stories are not shouted. They are folded quietly into myth, attributed to displeased spirits, bad luck, broken taboos. It is easier to blame the gods than the system that feeds you. And yet, the danger is always there, hanging silently above the hearth. Preserved meat looks strong. It smells powerful. It lasts. But inside it may carry threats no smoke can chase away, no salt can fully defeat. Invisible enemies that wait patiently, unaffected by cold, unmoved by tradition. The turning point comes not with a scream, but with a realization that preservation is not control. It is delay. The Vikings believe they have mastered time, that by drying, salting, smoking, freezing, they have bent nature to their will. And in a sense, they have. But only temporarily. Nothing here is permanent. Everything is borrowed time. Every preserved meal is a gamble that tomorrow will not demand more than yesterday prepared for. As trade expands, as populations grow, as winters fluctuate unpredictably, the old balance becomes harder to maintain. The same methods that worked for smaller communities begin to strain under greater demand. More mouths, less margin, less forgiveness for error. The system that once sustained life now quietly selects who will thrive and who will not. This is the hard truth hidden inside the smoke, that survival technologies do not eliminate vulnerability. They reorganize it. The Vikings were not foolish. They were brilliant within the limits of their world. Their preservation methods were feats of observation, discipline, and resilience. They allowed humans to live where others could not, to sail farther, to endure longer, to believe just a little that they were stronger than nature itself. But strength built on illusion is still fragile. In the end, the preserved meat hanging in the longhouse is not a symbol of conquest over nature. It is a reminder of dependence, a quiet confession that survival is always provisional, always conditional, always one mistake away from collapse. We like to think modern technology has freed us from these anxieties, that refrigeration, packaging, and abundance have solved the ancient problem. But the Viking smokehouse and the modern freezer share the same truth. They do not remove risk, they hide it. And when systems fail, they remind us how thin the line between security and hunger has always been. The Vikings understood something we often forget, that survival is not about comfort. It is about attention, about respect for processes you do not fully control, about knowing that every solution carries its own shadow. As the fire dies down and the smoke thins, the meat still hangs, silent, patient, waiting, just like winter,